Welcome, everyone, to the Spiritual Freedom Support Call number 20. And today we're sort of low on people. I know Justin's coming later. Brenda's here right now. And Christine, how are you guys? Well, Christine, I don't know how you're doing. How are you doing, Brenda?
I'm doing good.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
But yeah.
Good. You had a good Christmas?
Oh yeah. I went to my
Yeah.
brother's,
Uh-huh.
spent the night. My nephew came in from Caltech and
Oh.
he looks really happy. He
Aww.
looked relaxed and happy. He didn't look all tense and everything like he did before he left.
Wow, that is
And
really cool.
then I went to my aunt's on Christmas Day before coming back to the house, and my brother and his family are in Philadelphia right now.
Oh,
So
wow. So
I went there for 4 days.
what did you say, your nephew who went to Caltech, what's he studying?
He's taking two majors, one in mathematics and one in engineering.
Oh
That is
man.
awesome. Wow, that's hard.
My sister is
Yeah.
majoring in engineering and management, so
Yeah,
that's a tough major.
that
Yeah.
is. What's he gonna do with it?
I don't even think he knows yet.
No, that's all right.
He just wanted to take those courses, and
Right, right.
he actually got for his math, um, what is it? Like, it's not a midterm, but it's,
Right. What did he
I
get?
forgot what it is. It's like a midterm. It's the end of term test.
Yeah.
It's not the final. He got a 100% on it. He was the only one in the class that did.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
hard.
That's
That's
incredible.
awesome. Wow.
That's
Um.
awesome.
Yeah, we had a good Christmas. We just went. We both got tons of gifts.
Yeah. We got an
Yeah.
air fryer for Christmas.
Yeah. Have you ever heard
An
of an air
air
fryer?
fryer.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like it cooks with air instead of
Instead of
oil,
oil.
right?
Never seen one.
Healthier.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
really interesting. I'm excited to try it out. So that should be interesting. I don't know. Have you ever tried one?
No. Mm-mm.
No. It sounds interesting. So someone's gonna help us figure out how to use it. I don't. I don't know the physics of how it works. Like, how does it? How does air fry things? I don't get it. So I guess we'll see.
It, Basically, it's heated air. It's like a convection oven,
Right. Right.
and it crisps the outside of the
That's so cool.
whatever it is you're frying.
Right. Right. That's really neat. So we got that. I got new headphones finally, which I really needed. And just a whole ton of things. Lots of gift cards.
A
And
steamer for your clothes so you don't have to iron them.
yeah, that's what Christine got.
Well, no, we both did. It was for both of
I
us.
did not get a steamer. You got it. I don't use
True.
it. But yeah, lots of stuff. It was. I'm glad. I told you last week I'm not a big holiday person. I'm glad it's over. It was.
You're a Grinch.
It was a lot of people and all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it's
I
over.
get it.
Oh, we were just Saturday and Sunday nonstop. Just Saturday night went over to her mother's house for dinner. Sunday, someone here? Maybe. Hope not.
Yep.
I'm gonna put you on mute real quick. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
It's right in the middle.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Someone's dropping off something. So anyway, but yeah, it was nonstop. It was a lot. So I'm glad it's all over.
Yeah. Till
But
next year.
don't. Well, that's another 360. I don't know, 2 or 3 days away now. So that's
Yeah.
okay. 363.
Yeah, but you got Thanksgiving too,
Oh,
so
be quiet! You're trying to make it worse for me. No,
I just thought I'd throw that in
and
there. But
Easter
you
and
got you got how many days till that too
yeah,
to recoup? So
at least 300. And then Easter and all kind of fun stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You do Easter too?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Our family does.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, let me ask Christine. What is it? It's a microwave popcorn maker. Oh, cool. Thank you. There's another gift. So yeah, but that's what happened with us over the weekend. So it was interesting. Are you doing anything for New Year's?
No, probably working.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I've
good.
been I've been like cramming the last. I did some yesterday, and
Yeah.
then I got a headache, and I was like, I'm done. That's it. I'm done for the day.
I've
And
been.
then
Yeah, go ahead.
today I've been like I went out with my next door neighbor,
Yeah.
and we were supposed to go to the food stamp office for her,
Hmm.
but we called while we were on the road, and they said, oh, what she needs she can't get at the office, but you have to do it online.
Hmm.
So we went out to eat, and I came home.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I've been working nonstop because and I should probably announce this anyway. I've been transferring the website to a new host, as you know, Brenda, and
Right.
it's going really well. It's just ironing out the bugs and installing new things and getting everything working. And there's most of it is done. I would say most of the big stuff is done.
Yeah, I saw the
And
email that there might be
yeah,
little glitches, but you're working on them, and that's cool.
yeah. I think overall it's faster. It seems from my testing, it seems faster than it was.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah, so it's going really well. There's just a few minor. I've received a few reports from people who have run into issues, and so I'm fixing those as they come up. But overall, I mean, I published a post today and it went well. So I mean,
Yeah. And I
everything's
like
going
how the
well.
pictures are crisper looking. They're almost you can touch them, instead of
Yeah,
being like two-dimensional. They're crisper. They're
really cool.
cleaner.
Yeah, I enabled a feature on WordPress that I guess had that effect. So that's really cool. So
You
um,
guess what?
I enabled a feature on WordPress that I guess did that. So oh, we have someone new who just joined
Oh
us.
yeah.
Justin.
Hey, Justin. Oh, good. What were you up to?
Hey Justin.
Going well. Going well. How about you guys?
Good. I'm glad you could join
Doing
us.
good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I was just in the middle of announcing, and you probably already saw this. I've been transferring things on the website, so things are a little buggy for a while, but it's going
Mm-hmm.
well. One big thing are the courses. I had to transfer almost all of them are transferred. The 10 Keys course is transferred. The Art of Reality Creation course is transferred. Um, Not the Effortless Money yet. I will do that probably tomorrow. I have to get an image for it yet. and what call it? And then the new course, which I'll announce in a little bit, the Psychic Development course is already on there. So, but the people who were taking the other courses, I'm slowly importing them. So you'll getting emails about your access information and that kind of fun
Okay.
stuff. So it's a much nicer platform, though. I can't wait till you guys see it because it's a lot nicer. It has, you can have the audio or video in there. You can have text lessons or anything you want to. It's a really, really, really nice platform. So I'm excited to use it more. And it has like a discussion area and that kind of stuff. So, like for questions. So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
excited about that. So, but yeah, everything's almost transferred, so that's good. But only a few more things that need to get done, and then it should be good. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with the podcast because we haven't touched the podcast in a while, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do something with that one or not. But we'll just see about that. So yeah, so yeah, but everything is going pretty well with the website. I think it's a lot better than it was, so it's good. So Justin, how was your Christmas?
It was all right.
Yeah. you, sound, you sound like me. It was all right.
I didn't do anything Christmas Day. I just looked at basketball.
Yeah,
That
that's
was it.
awesome. That's good. That works if that's what you want to
I
do.
mean, I mean, I did. I went to Christmas Eve neighbor's party, and then I went to a
Mm,
church service,
right.
and then Christmas Day I said I'm done,
Yeah, I,
and
I wish I could have said that.
I well I yeah I needed a day of rest also from that whatever it was that virus I caught, whatever it was.
Oh,
So
yeah. Was that
but I
okay?
was rolling even afterwards. I didn't stop. I just kept doing my things like that the rest of that week.
Right,
And then I took that day off. I took, I went somewhere every other day except Sunday and Monday in the day.
right,
I gotta do something. So
right. I'm sorry if you hear voices in the background. Christine's sister is over here, and they're talking. I don't know what in the kitchen. So she'll be back in a few minutes. Christine will.
Okay.
Anyway, so before we get started with anything else, I do want to announce. If you've read today's post, you would have seen it. Um, the psychic development. Let's see, what's it called? Developing your psychic potential. It's called.
yep.
And what's that, Justin?
And so yeah, I saw it.
You saw it? Oh wow! Did we go on the blog?
No, I saw it.
So that is going to start on January 7th. I think we're going to do it. I'm going to wait until we get more signups to set a time. Okay, she's okay. And before we set a time for it, because I want to see what works for everyone. Hang on, I'm going to wait for a second. Bye.
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 Thank you so much.
1 second. All right. So, is that Kristen? So I'm going to wait until a little bit later to actually set a time for it. Probably in the afternoon sometime. It's okay. On starting on January 7th, which is a Saturday. So we're going to start the developing your psychic potential then. And this one's going to be 4 weeks instead of 3 because there's just tons of stuff. I was thinking about the course and I'm like, okay, I want to cover this and I want to cover this and I want to cover. How am I going to do that in 3 weeks? So I'm like, well, it's going to have to be a fourth week. It's just going to have to be because
Mhm.
there's so much. I mean, I want to do energy, I want to do divination, I want to do psychic senses, I want to do, how to give readings, I want to do, if we can get to it, maybe the ethics of it, but that's such a personal thing. I want to do, Akashic records, possibly. I want to do, contacting your spirit guides, which is spirit in general. It's a lot. So, there's just a lot of material. So I think it's going to be 4 weeks this time, starting on the 7th, and again we'll be on the new course platform, so that'll be exciting. So I'm releasing that this week. If for those who sign up this week, I'm offering 25% off. So you'll get it for 72.75 is the discount price. So that's before the first. So by the end of the year, if you sign up, you get it for that. And it will be normally 97 after the first. So I'm really excited for that one. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, that actually sounds like an involved course.
Oh God,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to do, and a lot of times we get a lot of signups, but most people don't come to the calls. This one, I really want to encourage everyone to come to the calls if you can, because while I am having, I'm having the text lessons this time, sort of like Justin what I did for the spiritual training. But the
Yeah.
calls are going to be a lot of discussion, and it's going to be a lot more of
It's
experiential exercises.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very,
Mhm.
very hands-on.
Very hands on, right? And that's another reason I'm doing
Yeah,
four
that's the only way to
weeks.
learn that technique, really.
Right. That's another reason I'm doing 4 weeks because you can't rush this stuff. You just can't.
Mm-mm.
I can't imagine in 3 weeks having, even getting close to what I want to do with this. So, and even 4 weeks is a bit, but I have to cap it somewhere. I mean, ideally, I'd have this like a lot longer. Maybe one day I'll have like a detailed psychic training. But this is just to get you started on the track on the path to that. But you know,
Mhm.
I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be really fun. It'll be a lot more material than any of the other classes, and you guys know how much material the other classes have had. Has have had. Yeah. So I'm psyched about it. No pun intended. Psyched. Huh? So yeah, that'll be really fun. But you can find that on the blog. I'm gonna have it at cocreationcoaching.org/psychic is the redirect link you can go to get there and learn more information. So yeah, that'll be. I'm really really excited. And Justin, I'm sure you'll have a lot to say on that one. So you
Definitely
can feel
want
free.
to talk to you when you get a chance this week,
Yeah,
whether we do it for a minute or two after class or
sure.
after tonight or later this week, whenever you got a minute.
Yeah,
It's not going to be
yeah.
long.
We'll do. I can at the end just don't disconnect and we can do that.
Okay.
So all right, cool. But
It won't be
yeah,
long, but I'm not going to try to be long.
yeah, of course. So yeah, that'll be good. So anyway, so that's coming up. That's good. Um, Anyway, so any specific questions? This week I'm kind of making it psychic week because today was on divination. Justin, your post is going to be on Friday because of the site transfer. I had to postpone my post today from Monday to Tuesday, and I don't like to post them too
Okay.
close together. So yours is going to be Friday the
I noticed that.
30th, and so Justin's posting on the blog on the 30th, so that'll be fun. But this is, both posts are about psychic abilities, psychic development. Today was about divination. Thursday or Friday will be about psychic senses. So, but questions about anything at all? I didn't receive any beforehand. But are there any questions about law of attraction? Anything else before we just get into random discussion about other stuff? So sweet.
No.
No. Okay. It's so weird not having as many people here today.
Well, it is
Yeah, I
Christmas, the
know,
week of
right?
Christmas and New
I
Year.
Who are we
know.
missing today?
I'm missing Ria
Rhea,
and
Fran.
Okay.
well,
Yeah,
Cope.
we're missing.
Cope
And what
came the
Cope.
last
what's
few
I'm
weeks.
sorry, what's the gentleman's name? The one that's deaf?
Cope.
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 His name is Cope.
Bill?
C-O-P-E,
Cope.
Cope.
Yep.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having him on the call.
He's fun, I know. He's really cool. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I feel bad. It's hard for him to follow. I wish I could transcribe these calls, but it's just that'd be really, really time consuming. That'd be a lot because they're 90 minutes. So anyway, so
I'm surprised you can't get TTY or something.
how does that even work though? I don't know how that works.
I know.
Anyway, but
He should have it, really.
yeah, I don't know how that works. Honestly, I don't know. They do have like, if you upload a video to YouTube, it'll do its best to guess the transcription, but it is horrendous. I mean, you would laugh at. It's worse than hermit crabs and.
they
oh,
they like the hermit crab thing.
the hermit crab. I love
Oh,
that.
there was more we
There were
found.
more. Yeah, there were a lot more. I did think it's something I wanted to discuss first.
No, I just thought of
What?
funny ones.
Oh, okay. I did think it's something I wanted to discuss first. There's been sort of a. Oh my gosh, my last post blew up on the blog. Not the divination one, the one before about
Well,
what
the
was it?
Ready.
divination one just came up today, so.
Yeah, but the one before that. What was the last one about, Christine? Stuff. Let me check. Stuff.
Yeah, because I don't
Stuff.
remember the title.
Happiness. Oh, you don't need to be happy to make the law of attraction work. Hang
Oh,
on. Did you see
yeah,
that
you were going
one?
to confuse people with that. Yeah, you were going to confuse. I saw, and I posted some stuff to that. You were going to confuse people with that one. When I
Yeah.
saw that, I said, "Oh, uh-oh."
That's sort of the.
So like,
Okay, why some people are happy and yet don't have everything they want. Yeah, well, that was sort of the intent to confuse people because, not to confuse people, but to make people think because. And here's what I kept trying to say in the comments. The thing is, you have lots of LOA teachers who say lots of stuff and, about how to make it work and whatnot. And the thing is that when you look at reality, it doesn't translate. It just doesn't work. I mean, like people, like we said last week, people who they say you have to feel good to get. have success and abundance and all that kind of stuff and be happy. And you see lots of people who aren't necessarily happy or always feeling good who do have lots of success and vice versa. It just doesn't translate. It doesn't work, right? It's a nice theory, but you have to ground the stuff in reality. You can't just have a cop out like, well, you can't know their true vibration. I mean, that's true in some sense, but it's just evident when you look at people in the world that some people are happy and don't have everything they want, and some people are not happy and have a lot more, you know? And,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? So it's just, especially when, a lot of times, like I've said, I get questions about, sorry, I forgot to do the outline. I get questions about, well, why is it I have this friend who's always miserable and yet she has all this stuff and a nice house and kids and new car and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not. I'm trying to be happy all the time. Nothing's happening. Why is that? It's not fair. So that is to answer those sorts of questions, because you have to know how it really works beyond the theory, right? So um,
Mhm.
I think what did you think was going to throw people off, Justin?
Because you see a lot of the feeling good, and what I people don't understand is if you feel happy, what that does is it makes it easier for you to manifest what you want. But you have to
Right,
apply the technique because
right,
if you do the happy thing, you'll have less negative circumstances
right,
to overcome. But that does not just because you're not naturally happy or you've got a bad attitude doesn't mean you can't excel at certain areas of life.
right,
It just doesn't mean that. So what the what the happy thing does is allow you to just make it a little more fluid.
exactly, right,
And you have to do your meditation or whatever you do for meditation, your zero state, um, prayer, whatever you do, you've got to do it every day to connect with that energy. Because other than that,
yes,
it you're not really putting enough focus to go forward.
right,
Whatever you do every day is what you got to do.
right,
Sometimes you say you don't even meditate, you journal. That still is connecting you with
exactly.
your God self, higher self.
Right, so yeah,
So you have to connect with your spiritual self somehow every day.
right,
And then you got to,
exactly,
while you're doing it, put your intention into what you're doing
right,
every day.
exactly.
Uh, it's probably easier to meditate, but I mean, journaling works.
Hmm.
Takes a bit more skill to do journaling and
I
do it.
love journaling. Yeah,
Um, you can light candles, you can sing, whatever
yeah,
you got to do.
all that stuff.
But you
Yeah,
got to put your intentions there, and you got to move forward. You got to get your power to go out and manifest what you want. Just feeling good doesn't do it really.
exactly.
It might
Within
manifest
your
something that's
comfort
right
zone.
around your area.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, right in your area.
Right around your comfort zone.
Um,
Right, but it
but
takes
that's
that
not
focus
why.
to get to the next level. Right.
It does.
Right.
It takes that focus. Now, like I think I even said something about being happy will do things like get you some football tickets
Yeah, right. It'll
at
do
the
stuff
Right.
that's
upper.
like, oh, that's cool, but
And
it's
it's
not.
temporary.
It's not life changing. It's not. It's like, oh, that's cool, but it's not.
Cool.
Right.
Hey, you
It's
did
not
get to
life
go to an
changing.
NFL football game that you wouldn't have gotten to go to.
Right. Right.
Um,
But
I've never been to one. I'd love to do that. So I
right.
mean,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
it makes the manifestation easier, but you still have to put that focus in there.
That's just like I was out at dinner last week at my favorite restaurant here in
Mhm.
Olean, and I had the thought, I'd really love to come here more often. It was just a really simple thought, and then I got like all sorts of gift cards for that same place, like tons of different
Yep.
things to be able to go there for free for probably the rest of the next years. Like, it was,
Now,
Right.
the happy person, the happy person, excuse me, the
yeah,
sad person or the negative person
yeah,
would never have that.
but
They're not going to
no,
probably
not at
get
all.
that unless they paid the money to get the membership to do it.
Right,
But
exactly.
they wouldn't get that.
Right, Yeah. So I think the reason people got really honestly upset about this one. Some people were. I mean, I got like such mixed. You should read the comments. It's hilarious. Such mixed
I did.
reactions. Did you? From I think because it's one of those sacred cows of the law of attraction, where it's like that's how it works. Happy equals success. You know, and when someone calls one of those basic principles into question, it's like, oh, what are you talking about? You know,
What do you mean?
what do you
Yeah.
mean? I've been basing everything on this one principle. What are you talking about here? And it's like, I will tell you, I didn't think I would, and this is not bragging, I swear, because I did not think I would do it. I manifested my third monthly goal. Remember, I said that this month I have another monthly goal, and I'm taking a break for the relaxation part of that process. I'll talk about next week,
Mhm.
Right.
the contraction relaxation cycle. But I reached just the other day. I reached my third monthly goal in a huge way. Actually, it's going way over that monthly goal. And I will tell you, I did not feel super good about it all month. I mean, quite often I didn't really think I would get it. It was like too big to really. I'm like, no way. But I kept holding on to it.
When he
That's
told me how much it was, I was shocked.
yeah. And I will tell you, it's like I said, I didn't always feel good about it. I didn't really think it was possible. But I think what moves it, I think the real momentum behind it, the real force behind it is I'm going to hold on to this goal anyway, even though I don't know if it's really going to happen. I'm still going to hold on to it.
So you don't have to
Yes.
really
Oh,
know
yep.
what'll happen.
Right. Ideally, you'd be
And
like,
it's
oh
all
yeah, it's going
about
to happen.
holding on to the vision,
Right.
holding on to the field,
That's like the
holding
most
on what it would be like to spend some of that money to eat sushi.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's.
I said in one of the comments, I said, look, we are magicians. We our primary will or our primary tool is um, not emotion. It's
Mm-mm.
will. It's will, deliberate choice. The will to make something happen. The will to choose something to happen.
Now,
And I
yeah, yeah.
and I chose for this goal to happen, and my subconscious, yeah, right. But you know what? It did. It absolutely did. And I will tell you, it really sped up momentum. I mentioned before, like, um, within the first week or two of this month, we had exceeded last month's goal. And now, I'm it's so split about like how much detail to give, but right now
It's okay.
we've reached the total combined of last month and the month before.
Wow.
The
What
total.
So
Awesome.
you say was your subconscious on board?
No, not at first. No,
But
no.
eventually it has to be dragged along.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I kept hanging on to it. I kept saying, you know what, subconscious, I know you don't want me you don't believe I can do this. I know that. And you're actually pretty scared of it. I mean, it brought up some terrifying stuff. But I said, despite all that, I am still holding on to this vision. I'm still
And
holding on to it.
yeah, and the other thing is it now yes, it to me it's will, and then there's what I like to call it inspiration to drive it.
Right.
Um,
It
and
has
that's
to
your
excite you.
emotional,
Right. Yeah,
and
that's
that's your
why yeah, the
I guess
emotions.
that's your emotion.
Right. Yeah, because you need to remember the three elements. You need the focus, the will, and the emotion. Right?
Yep.
Without any of those, it's just, I mean, without the emotion, you can get some of the
Tough.
distance,
It's the
but
emotions like the driver. It's the fuel.
it's you know what it's like? It's like the oil of the car. It's like you can
Yeah.
get somewhere without it, but it's gonna do a number on your engine.
I don't know if you
Yeah, it is.
can.
It is going to do a number on your engine. Let me tell you.
I don't know if you.
Yeah.
We'll go
Don't
places,
pour
but
it out.
it really is going to mess up our engine.
So you can really force it. It reminds me of one time when I was younger, when I was about 11 or 12. I had, oh my god, the worst trip in the whole world. My mother was going away for training for 2 weeks, and I had this babysitter, and my mother wanted her to keep the car while she was babysitting me, because so in case we need to go somewhere. So we drove her out to Philadelphia,
Oh,
and then the babysitter drove me back in her car. So we dropped my mother off, and it was like the worst snowstorm that day. And it took us, a normal trip is like 4 hours. It took us, I think, 10.
I thought it
Wow.
was yeah.
No, it was like 10.
Huh.
It was
That's a lot.
it was over double. My mother was freaking out because she was trying to call us. Anyway, at one point we got a flat tire, and once the tire was fixed, this lady tries to pull out into the road, and we're sliding all around, squeaking and squealing, and she forgot to turn off the emergency brake.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was.
Wow.
that'll do it.
Yeah, don't do it. That's what this kind of reminds me of. You can get somewhere. We were moving, but not
Right?
not so smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
not going to work out but so
not
well
going
if
to work
you.
out too much. So it's like that's how it is. So will is, to me, the number one thing,
Yeah, for me
and
it is too.
will is the number one thing. Focus is really what keeps you on the path. Like, you focus on achieving this goal. It's really kind of a part of will. Emotion is what kind of smooths it all out. It's that oil, or we're taking the emergency brake off. It lets you move forward more easily. You know, um,
Yeah.
so all three are really, really important, and that's true. But like I said, this month, and this is really, I mean, the last 3 months have been a huge education for me in the law of attraction, because again,
Mhm.
I did not feel, up in the clouds all day, or quote unquote in the vortex or anything like that, and not float around on not cloud nine or anything like that. I just, I just chose it. I just said this is what's going to happen. This month, I was like, I'm trying to choose it, and it felt. The reason I really wasn't sure what would happen is it felt different. I think it felt different because it was so big, you know,
Yeah.
and so, but it happened, and the thing I realized from that is, number one, you don't have to feel good about it, because I didn't. Number two, you don't even really have to believe it, but that really helps. I wouldn't dispense with that so easily, but I didn't really believe it. I just focused on it. I just held it, continuously, and that's what did it. That was the moving force behind the whole thing, and it happened. And
Yeah.
number three, I realized, is that the more you align with, especially the big goals, the more things just happen. I mean, the way, and I don't want to give details about it, but the way that,
It's okay.
but I don't want to, the way that we exceeded the goal, I did not see it coming. It was like, you're joking.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
joking.
see, I think for your average, like I think though that for your average student, I would want to have them believe it at first because
Yes, yes.
I
I
think for you and even me, I can just hit a home run sometimes.
right. Persistence and just holding it. But yeah, belief, very, very important.
Really helps.
Extremely, just like emotion, very important, but not always necessary. So it's just about, like I said, my goal is to see, okay, this is how the law of attraction works. Now here's how you can, you know, just like cars. There are people who test out cars, and see how they work
Yeah.
and crash them and that kind of. And that's sort of what I feel like we're doing. But then when you go out and drive the car in everyday life, you don't do all that stuff. You don't stress test it. you know, like
No.
like in programming, I know more about this, so I can speak more freely on it. In programming, we do quality control, quality assurance, and they'll stress test it, they'll test it for bugs, they'll put in all sorts of different inputs to try to break the program. Now those are edge cases. A normal user is not going to come in and do all this stuff, right? But they're stress testing it. They're making sure it all works together. So that's kind of, yes, you can do this, but it doesn't mean it's recommended. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so that's just, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
a car you can run at 100 miles an hour, but it's not totally recommended. you know, so that's sort of how it is. I think belief very very important, emotion very important, but you can get by with will and persistence alone if you hold on to the vision. And that's how I think a lot of inventors, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of artists get by sometimes because they don't always feel good about it, they don't always believe it, but they still keep going. And that alone will often get you through if you keep that vision, right? So, but it worked. Like I said, next month, and I'll write about this next week. Next month, I'm taking that time off of intentional manifesting in this area of life, at least, because
Hmm.
a lot of changes happen in the subconscious. I can tell, and it just needs time to kind of catch up. You know. Anyway, so the other big thing that sure, okay. The other big thing that came up, and I'm honestly surprised about this. Again, very polarizing responses. Okay, the zero state. I've had people comment and say,
Oh my gosh. I was shocked about this too.
then say, I read that post and honestly, it just didn't resonate with me. And other people say, like other people said, oh, I loved that post. It resonated so much, and I think it's so important. Like just totally, totally opposite
And then the
responses.
people that said, I think the zero state is a bunch of baloney, pretty much.
Right. So,
Did you not? What?
sorry.
Did you not read the zero state post? Like, where were you when that
Right.
was published?
Right.
People?
So what someone said, and I want to address this. Okay. Um. So what someone said is basically, look, you can enter the zero state, but when you come out, your limiting beliefs are still there. So you need to do this and that technique to actually work on your beliefs. And I said, no. Um,
Yeah.
you know, it's counterintuitive. Most of this stuff is counterintuitive. Most of this stuff, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and it's gonna be good, and then
You
nothing will be blocking me from my manifestation. The zero state.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
The zero state is it works because of the principle. You guys who haven't done the 10 keys class, you really need to do it because I tell you exactly why the zero state works in a lot more detail. That's one of the keys, the zero state. And I know you probably get sick of me talking about it, but it's probably
It's vital.
besides will, the zero state is probably the most important aspect.
I think
Will,
it is.
yeah. I don't know
Only
what you,
reason I say I think it is
yeah,
because without it, you don't create really as well.
exactly. It's your
That's
blank canvas. It's your blank slate.
I don't do it nearly enough. I have to every
Yeah,
day, and I'm so out of practice. It's
I
like it's
know.
a muscle you don't use if you're not, you know.
So, I don't
And I'm going
know.
to tell y'all, listen. Go ahead.
Oops. Go ahead, Justin.
I'm saying, and it's almost the only way you really want to try to do divination.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's
And I'm going to
one thing
talk.
to mess up law of attraction like that,
Right.
but I'm going to tell you something. Screw around with divination without doing it.
And
See what happens.
actually, I'm going to talk about exactly that in the psychic course. I'm going to talk about. I know again, you guys are sick of the zero state, but too bad. I'm going to talk about the zero state in the psychic course because not only is it good for law of attraction, it's good for psychic, intuition, divination, whatever, all that stuff. It is. It's there for everything. You need it. You can't. I honestly don't know why people just pass it over. I don't get it.
And I'm sorry, but it's also in the Bible, so you can't really escape it. It's the peace that passes all understanding.
Yeah,
So you can't really escape it, people. It's there.
So what now?
she's saying it's in the
Right.
Bible too. The peace that passes all understanding.
It's that state. It's the peace
Right.
that
Oh,
passes
okay,
all.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just meditation, like when you just breathe, and you can do it
Right.
when you're walking. Like you don't even
Exactly.
have to be sitting there.
No.
Right.
You can do it when you're walking, literally,
Exactly.
because I'm doing it,
Yeah. Me
and
too.
then you can very quickly get your energy going. But you do have to practice that. But
Anyway,
you got
so
to be able to tap your inner
right.
self, man.
So the reason, the reason it's so important is because it's that non-reaction. That's the term I used in the class, the 10 keys class. It's that non-reaction which, you know, totally weakens your resistance. What you have to realize is that energy feeds. Okay, one word? Someone answers. Whoever gets it first gets, I don't know, 1,000 points. Like, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah,
What word is what feeds energy? What feeds energy? What gives it more strength?
emotion.
Reaction.
Reaction, emotion. Yeah, Christine.
Um. No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Well, I want you
Oh.
to.
Your
That's why I said
focus.
your name.
Your focus.
Focus. There you go. Yeah, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, focus.
Focus. Will maybe.
Focus. It's
Focus.
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 Focus, your attention, your reaction gives energy momentum and gives it strength. The opposite of focus, which is non-reaction, which is removing your focus, weakens that energy. That, energy form, that thought form, or whatever you want to call it, right? Resistance is basically a thought form. It's basically an energy blockage. This is all energy work. So when you're hammering away at resistance with this or that technique, what are you doing? You're focusing on it.
Yeah.
You're making it more real, right? I told you before, when I would hammer away at it with any method really, and then I would come back and check if there was any more resistance, there always was, because I'm just focusing on it. Yeah, I release it and I feel good for a minute, but then I go back and, okay, is there any more resistance? And there always is. Why is that? You know? So that's the way to. I used to, long time, I called it, remember, Justin, you might remember this, starving the manifestation?
Yep.
Yeah.
Starving the manifestation. The manifestation is your negative, resistance, your negative
Yeah.
emotions, whatever, negative thoughts. Starving the manifestation by removing your focus from it. Removing your focus from it
Mhm.
is done by entering the zero state, not hammering away at it,
Yep.
not trying to convince yourself it's
Mm-mm.
not true. It's literally just taking your focus away from it, not suppressing it in the background or something like that, but really, honestly, taking your focus away from it and into a total non-reactive state. That's the zero state. It
Yeah.
is
Yep.
it is a state of total non-reaction, a state of total emptiness, not in a bad way, but in a kind of neutral zero way. So that's that's the zero state. It's stillness. Now that's when you have resistance, when you have limiting beliefs, and you enter. So let's say your subconscious works based on emotion and what you hold your attention on. So let's say your subconscious, you have a goal, and your subconscious says, "No, that's not possible because X, Y, and Z," and you get these limiting beliefs that come up, right? And you can go in and say, "Oh, that's not true," and I'm going to work on these beliefs and do this or that method and whatever. You can do that, but the subconscious is like, "Oh, you reacted to it, you believe in it, therefore I'm going to hold on to this belief." When in the face of that belief, you say, "I don't care," and you don't react, and you enter the zero state, you are telling your subconscious this is no longer true. Now, it might not happen all at once. It will come up again, but it will come up weaker. Okay? So that is how it works. So, every time that limiting belief comes up and you say, "I don't care, I'm not going to react to it," it's getting weaker because you're training your subconscious to realize, hey, this thing that once was important is no longer important because you're not reacting emotionally to it. And then you start reacting emotionally instead to the goal, to the thing you want. You think about the thing you want and you feel a positive emotion about it. And that tells your subconscious, yeah, this is important. Right? So that's how you're doing it. And that's why the zero state's so important. That's why, I don't know why people don't believe it is important.
I wish I remembered. Saint Francis of Assisi talked about this similar thing, and he called it a portable cell you could take inside of you.
Right, I don't know.
And I don't. I wish I remembered where I got it from. It wasn't even him. It was just someone else writing about him. I don't even remember
Right.
where I took the book, where it was from, or what. But it's what he called it.
Wow, that's
Maybe
interesting.
Justin knows because he read about him. I don't know, but
What
he
is
was.
what is it now?
It was Francis of Assisi talked about something very similar, and he called it, the zero state, a portable cell that you could take around inside of you, where you could always escape. Where you could always feel that
Mm-hmm.
calmness. But of course, I don't
Yeah.
remember who it was because it wasn't
Right.
even him. It was an author that wrote about him.
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer maybe.
No, because it was my mom read it with me, and she wouldn't read Wayne Dyer. It was somebody else. It was a
I don't
Catholic.
remember that.
It was a Catholic. But
Huh.
but anyway, but still, I mean,
Right.
the fact that he said the same because
Well, all these
Francis.
mystics know about it.
That's what I'm saying. Francis was a mystic. Francis of Assisi was a
Right.
mystic,
Right. Yeah.
and he wrote about
All the
he
masters, all the gurus, all the mystics, they all know about this
and
state.
he called it a portable cell
Hmm.
that you could take around inside of you.
There's no one that says, "Hey, yeah, happiness is that's the key." No, it's always the zero, the stillness,
Yeah, he always called it
the
that.
void, whatever. I mean, that's the key. It's not.
I just wish I remembered.
So that's the thing about this. The zero state is infinitely more important about happiness. I don't care. I mean, I want you to be happy, obviously, but happiness is an emotion. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
It has little value besides to be used as a tool to convince your subconscious mind about your goal. But you don't need that all day long, every day. What you need is the zero state. Okay,
Yes.
that's the thing that's going to really, really, really help you with your goal. The zero state. That is the number one tool that you require in order to do this. It's just so important, and that's hopefully that explains why it is. I know there was a lot of confusion about why exactly it's so important, but happiness, it's an emotion. It's gonna come, it's gonna go. The zero state is, even when you have an emotion, it's beneath all of that, right? So it never goes, it never changes. Um,
Right.
that's what's important about it. So
It's like the calm, in the middle of the storm. You can always go there,
right,
always.
so
Right.
It's really good for not having you go too negative.
yes,
So if you just stay generally positive, you'll still get the same, most of the same stuff.
right, right,
You
right.
don't really need to be all happy and everything all the time.
Like I said, I got this goal, and I was not in a super wonderful state about it. Just no, was not, absolutely not. But I believed, well, no, I didn't believe. I, I decided I would stick with it anyway, and I did enter the zero state. And so the combination of those things.
That takes a lot of pressure off. That you don't necessarily have to believe it, but you can say, "Okay, I'll stick with it."
You won't believe it first. I mean, if you believe it first, then it's within your comfort zone, and it's not really going to be hard. If it's a big goal, you're not going to believe it. I mean, you'd be crazy. I mean, that's called delusion.
Mm-hmm.
To believe something that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I believe that I can be a millionaire, and well,
Sure.
there's no evidence of it. That's a little delusional right there.
Mm-hmm.
But with inner alignment, with entering the zero state and not reacting to those limiting beliefs that come up in reaction to your goal, you know, then you start to believe it more. And that's, I really did. As I got closer, I started to believe it more, and I started to be open to it. And I started to be like, oh, I'm not too far away from it. you know? So it's a process of alignment, a process of belief, more and more belief in this goal. But no, you don't have to be happy 24/7 or anything even close to that. You don't have to bouncing off the walls or whatever. It's just really a zero state and will and not reacting to the negative emotions, right? So hopefully that clarifies it. But people were really confused. I thought this was pretty well established for most people who are reading my stuff by now. Zero state. It's just sort of what's.
You wrote a post on it too. I thought it was
I
clear.
did, yeah. But someone read it and just said they didn't resonate with it. But it's so. And I will
It
tell
could have been the terminology, though.
possibly. I will tell everyone the same thing. If you don't believe me, go test it. Because again, this stuff should be practical. It should be applicable to everyday reality. Test it. Now, if you have trouble reaching the zero state, that doesn't mean the zero state doesn't work. Because if you have a lot of attachments, a lot of resistance, you might have trouble reaching it. But
Hmm.
if you really honestly reach the zero state and focus on your goal and do all the stuff I say and nothing, absolutely nothing happens, then fine. But I don't. I know it's not going to happen because I've worked with lots of clients that I've walked through this exact process. It's worked for every one of them. It's worked for me insanely well. You know, so that's how it is. But test it. Put it to the test. See if it works. And ask questions if you get stuck along the way, like, well, I did this and nothing happened or whatever, and we'll debug it. But that's why I try to be very accessible, because I want to make all this very clear and very open, right? But it's very important, I think. Any comments
Another
or
thing people
go
seem to
ahead?
get confused as is how long to do it. How long
Yeah,
to
I don't do it
do
for
it every
long.
night, and then how long to do it
Right,
for your goal. And it's kind of like, well,
as long as it
everybody has a
takes.
little different methodology, but I mean, like,
As long as you want to.
you you do it as long. I think it's you do it 10 or 15 minutes, or you do it as long as it takes.
I
It might
don't do
only
it
be
that long.
5 minutes.
Yeah,
Might
I
be
do it a
five
few
minutes.
seconds.
But I mean,
I do it maybe 2 minutes, honestly.
yeah, a few minutes. Find if you're gonna do a big one, like if you're gonna do the full blown focus, if you're gonna do the full creation and raise the
Right.
energy, it may take you longer. But other
Yeah, it
than
could.
that, you shouldn't have to do it if you want to. I mean, it's just physical what you're doing, and then they say how long, how many days, or how many weeks until you feel your goal is there, either when you get it
Totally.
or until you know you've got it.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Just do it. And like I said before, it's non-negotiable, right? You don't take failure as an option. It's non-negotiable. You just
Hmm.
choose it. You don't. I don't know.
You
I
just
don't.
choose to do it.
I don't get where this thing about I don't care either way if it comes or not. I don't get where that came from, because that has never worked for me. It's only been when I've decided.
Yeah.
It's only been when I've decided this is how it is. This is my goal. I'm going to reach it, or at least to the best of my ability. That was a little harder this month, but I did. I still. You know what? I don't know how it's going to happen. I still choose it. I'm choosing it anyway.
Well, that the I know you've done some of the hey, you don't care whether you have it or not. We
Yes,
did that with the Sedona method, and
correct. I know,
um,
and that's why I say
that's pretty much. I like that method for coaching. I think
I like
I
the
think
Sedona
that's a
method
good
for
one when you
resistance.
need
Yes,
when you need
but
some
yeah,
interpersonal, like get rid of it. But when it's time to go,
right.
it's all systems go, man.
It's good in a certain context, but I found my experience was that as I
Hmm.
used it more and more and more, it didn't. There was always a bit of resistance left. Always a bit of resistance left. Always a bit of resistance left. It's like you have to take it down until it's gone all the way, and then go. It was just this really, tiring, intensive process of just, well,
Yeah.
let's see what other beliefs. I don't know. I will tell you again. This was a big goal. I didn't I didn't address any limiting beliefs. I didn't do any methods with them. I just did the zero state and let them go, and that was it. I didn't do any kind of um, iteratively working through each belief until it was gone and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've
Yes.
tested a lot of stuff. It just doesn't. I never got big results with it. This is. I've been doing this since before I started the website, obviously. And this is, I can truly say, the biggest result I've had. These manifestations in the last few months, especially this month. The biggest I've had since using law of attraction, you know, from using these methods. So that's what proves it to me that it works, right? So that just doesn't. I mean, the,
Yep.
the Sedona method is really great for really entering the zero state. You know, when you have this belief that you just can't, because it's really a slowed down method of reaching the zero state. It's like, okay, could I let this go right now? Would I let this go? When?
So I want control and my detachment,
Right,
and my, and
right,
it's kind of like, it
but
really helps for the, I guess, the consumer, but, oh man, you just want control right now. How does it feel like if you had control? That felt really good, but then at some point you have to accelerate and leave it and just go and do what you just
right.
did.
But like I said, I was not, and I want to emphasize this. Um, I was not detached from this goal. I
Nope.
was not detached from last month's goal. I was not detached from October's goal. I have not, you know, all my successful manifestations in the last few months, I was not detached from them. I did not. It was not to the point where I couldn't care less. That was not true. I did care. I did want it. You know,
Hmm.
but the difference was that I chose it. So
The
that's
choosing is, to me, is the big thing.
the
It's like you just
choosing.
Yeah.
decide this is how it's going to be.
Choosing changes
What
energy.
do you think, Brenda?
Choosing, yeah. Did you ask Brenda?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I think he was asking you what
What
you
do you
thought.
think? The choosing?
The act of
Oh, as
choosing.
far as what he was saying about choosing it versus letting it
Yeah.
go. Oh yeah, you have to.
I love
You
choosing
can't.
it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if it won't be a goal if it's not chosen.
Right.
Technically, I mean,
Choosing.
my
Exactly
goal,
right.
my chosen goal is to do
Hmm.
X, Y, Z.
Right. Right.
If you don't choose to do that, it's not a goal. Period.
Right.
And
And
for me, letting it go means letting the universe just help you, letting the universe decide how it appears.
right.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
to
You have
me,
to let
that's
go of the
detachment and
details.
letting it go. It's
Right.
like, don't worry about how it happens. Just decide it's going to happen and walk that energy path.
Yep.
You
I kind
know.
of picture it like the silver cord. Like you have it in your hand,
Yep.
but it's attached to you with that silver cord, and
Right.
then you just let it go off into the universe and float away, but it's still attached to you.
I just want to report right now.
Hmm.
Our cat is snoring, and it's really loud.
Your cat is
Oh
what?
my
Snoring.
gosh.
Snoring.
Our cat
Wake
snoring.
him up.
I don't even know where he
I
is.
would.
I don't know
I
why
would
our
wake him up.
cat's snoring. It's really funny.
The cat is snoring?
Yes, it's a really cute little squeaky snore.
I know.
I know. I just wanted to report that. But anyway, but yeah, the detached thing, like actually not caring if it comes or not, like that's what Lester Levinson and what's his name, Hale Dwoskin and whatever. I don't know if it's Dwoskin or
I didn't like
Dwoskin.
stuff like that. Yeah.
But anyway,
Hmm.
they all said to get to the point where you don't care if your goal comes. I tried. I really nothing happened. You know. I don't know if I ever. I did a few times. I did get to the point with a few things where I didn't care if it comes. Nothing ever happened. Um, I don't know. I just for me things only happened like last year when I had that kind of crisis in September with money, and I decided it would be okay. I decided things would work out. I didn't not care. I decided. Now that I look back, it wasn't deliberate at the time, but now that I look back at it, I just decided, well, things are going to have to work. When I just decide things are just going to have to work, that's when things work.
Yep,
I
yep.
don't
That's
know.
kind of how I do it.
That's why I'm so candid about what's that word about about how I work with the law of attraction, because it's one thing to just give all this theory and well it's this and this and this and this and feeling good about it and entering the vortex, but until I like to talk about my personal experience, how it works for me with my personal manifestations, and let you decide from there. And I'm telling you truthfully again about this month, I didn't feel good about it. I didn't always believe in it. I did more later on. I was almost afraid of it at first, you know, and but I chose it. I kept choosing it. I entered the zero state, and it happened in a big way, right? So um, that's just being honest about what happened. So, but yeah, it's choosing. Choosing is, I think, what really moves universal energy. That just totally gets everything moving, set in motion. So that's very, very important. The act of choosing. That's why I said about will,
Hmm.
just willing it to happen. Will is magicians or whatever you want to call yourself is again one of the most important things you can use. One of the most important tools.
And
I I was looking back, Christine. I didn't tell you this yet, but you might remember this. So the course platform, I swear, it's on topic. The course platform, I moved everything to. I actually signed up for a trial last year, the
Oh
end of last
wow.
year, and didn't end up using it. Do you remember this,
Did
Christine?
you?
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
did. At the time, I didn't think it was accessible, or I don't know. I just didn't, or it was too expensive for me because I wasn't making that much at the time. But anyway, so I so I logged back in. I have my old account. I signed up for the plan I wanted. Well, I had a course that I had in draft state, and you'll love the name of this course, Justin. I called it
hmm
the principles of practical magic.
Oh
there you
my
go.
Do you remember
gosh.
that, Christine?
Yeah.
Ah, I like that one.
Don't you like that? I
Did
want to
you?
create that course.
I
What was it
like that
for?
one.
I think I was trying to get away from using the law of attraction as a name because it was just it was magic. I don't know. I don't remember. I just very barely, barely, barely remember. I have to look at if even I've created any pages because I want to see my thought process back then. But I had this course, the Principles of Practical Magic, and I so want to create that course now. So if if you see a course in the
Yeah,
next few months of that name, that's why. Because I'm so I have this. The emotion is there, the inspiration is I want to create that.
After the
Yeah.
psychic course,
The psychic course. It just sounds so not magical. It's just oh yeah.
duh.
Principles of Practical Magic.
That's
I
awesome.
love
that's
that
pretty awesome.
name. That's pure inspiration right there.
That is awesome. I like that.
You named it a year ago for this year.
I know. So I'm
I
gonna.
vaguely
Yeah.
remember it, and
Yeah.
then you turned Muslim.
And I did what?
Turned Muslim.
That's right. I think it was no.
Yeah.
This was the 2015. This is November, October, November.
Oh, you know what?
What
That's right. You got back into magic
did I?
right around that time,
Did I? I don't know.
a year
So
ago.
that's what I called it, but
I remember because you were. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember.
I do because I remember the timelines.
Of course you do. Christine remembers everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Principles of Practical Magic. I love that title. I
yeah.
love that name.
So you
So
quit doing magic for a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
what's that?
You quit doing magic for a little bit, came back to it.
Yeah, for a little bit, and then there's the whole Muslim thing, and then now I'm back to magic. Woohoo! I got a nice. I just want
Uh,
to say, I got for Christmas. I got a wonderful Hades statue. It's amazing, and it has
who gave that to you?
You got
um,
what?
a Hades statue. Christine's father and his wife, her stepmother.
People will give you that who's in your family. That's cool.
Yeah, they're cool. That side of the
I've
family's cool.
never gotten something like that from anybody in my family.
Really,
I would have to.
I got it on
I'm
my
not
wish
getting
list.
things to any of that. I have to go
Really?
find that on my own.
Yeah. So
My
this
Really?
mom did
this
buy me a dream catcher and
oh, that's
some
nice.
pillows with some wolves on it, though.
So this statue has Cerberus, the three-headed dog, and you can feel. I felt the detail. It's really good detail. All three heads have their mouths open, like they're snarling. You can feel the teeth in
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
And then there's like a chain. I don't know if the dog's on a chain or what it is, but there's a chain there. And there's Hades. It's like 11 inches tall. It's just amazing. I love it. I'll have to get Christine to take a picture of it and upload it or
I'll
something.
try. I'm
It's
not.
really cool. Or I can just get the picture from Amazon probably. But I love it.
I'll take
It's
the picture.
if you think you can. But I love it. It's such a cool statue. I put it on my altar, which currently only consists of that statue. really, really bad altar. But it's I love it. It's really cool. So, but anyway, but yeah, back into Magic now. But yeah, I guess I was looking at Magic last year. I just don't
Yeah,
remember
you
that
were.
much.
I do.
Christine remembers these things, but
Oh,
so
You were
yeah,
into ceremonial magic then.
yeah, that's right. I've tried. It's just too much ritual. I'm not good at ritual. I'm into. I found they have a name for this. Direct magic. Direct magic is like just thinking it. Like you and I do. Well, you do a little more ritual, but just thinking it, sort of like law of attraction, just willing it, just deciding it. It's called direct magic. And there are some articles out there about it, so I like it.
yeah, I have to
Yeah,
read
Too
some on
much
that.
mind power. I don't.
I don't know.
I use a
I
combination of stuff.
yeah, it's whatever works. I mean, it's all magic. It's all whatever works. But I like direct magic, and I'm good. I mean, I'm good at it.
I'll say.
So
Yeah, I can.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, I can see it. You're you almost yeah, real quick. You're almost, they say you were detached from your goal. You're almost detaching from your resistance. Like you're almost,
Yes, you need to detach. That's a zero state really defined. You need to
yeah, that's what
detach from your
you're doing.
resistance, right? But you don't.
I like that,
Yeah, but you
and I
don't
like
have to not.
your.
Mhm. You don't
Go
have to
ahead.
not care about your goal though. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen. you know,
Oh,
an artist always cares about his painting, right? I mean, you never.
that would be super hermit path or hermit crab.
right.
Yeah,
God.
that would be super hermit, super
Yes.
mystic. That's when you're just getting rid of resistance everywhere, and suddenly everything sort of happens at once. But I mean,
Right. Really slow
yeah, I'm gonna find those
process.
articles on
Direct magic,
practical
yeah.
magic.
Yeah. Direct magic is the mental, you know. Yeah. Direct magic. I like it. Because I'm like, I don't, why should I set up a circle and all that? I just decide it and it happens. Isn't that really
Yeah, it
the
depends on what you're
pure
doing.
magic? Yeah. Yeah, I don't
It
know.
just depends on what you're doing.
Just really depends on the
Because
person.
a lot of conjure folks don't use a circle either.
Right.
So the
I will
hoodoo,
for
a
like
lot of them don't
full
either.
moon rituals or stuff like that, but not for magic. I don't know. I'm like, why? I can't see the symbols anyway. They don't do much for me. Like the elemental symbols and all that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna,
Oh, see, I don't do elementals. I call the four corners
yeah,
the archangels and create a spiritual crossroads, and
yeah,
I
that's
can
right.
feel it. Like I
That's
can
right.
between the wolves.
Oh, I can feel it too, but the symbols just don't. I don't know. I can feel the circle once it's closed, but I just can't. I don't know. For me, I can just do it just as well, just mentally. So I don't know. It's just how it works.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, yeah. I'll actually do it too, like that, where I'll just call the four corners mentally without doing anything. If I'm going to meditate,
right.
I'll just mentally do it, spirit, and then and it
Sure.
clears meditation channel. It's actually a little secret
Sure.
where you get your divination.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay. So let's. Any other comments or questions about what we talked about today? I think
Uh-uh.
hopefully it's pretty clear what we talked about: zero state and happiness and all that kind of fun stuff. Any questions about that or comments or anything? So, did either of you get to see the divination post yet?
Yep.
No,
Okay.
I haven't. Like told you earlier I wasn't
Yeah,
home, so and
yeah, yeah.
just before you messaged me to see if I was on
Right.
is when I actually sat down and got the computer open and everything. So
That's
I
awesome.
haven't actually had a chance yet.
You saw it, Justin?
I did.
I did too,
Well,
obviously.
obviously you did. I should hope so. Um, so yeah, that's like I said, the topic for this week's psychic stuff. So to kind of summarize, the difference, and we'll just see what the discussion takes us. Um, the difference between law of attraction and divination is essentially a matter of. So what I said in the post was, um, divination's like a snapshot of how are things right now. Where are things pointed to right now? Okay, law of attraction is more, I'm going to change the current reality. But,
Hmm.
a lot of people ask, how can I, so if I just feel good about it, can I just ask the universe, well, is this true? Does such and such, does so and so love me? Or am I going to get this job or whatnot? And can I just feel good about that? And the universe will give me the answer. And I said, well, just the very
No.
fact of you doing that will actually alter reality, right? It's really hard. Reality is very, very, very changeable, very malleable. So just the very fact of you thinking about it and feeling anything, really just thinking about it, will often change it in some way, but it usually takes more intense focus than just a thought. But divination or intuition is taking what is right now, all the energies that currently exist, and basically determining or honestly taking your best guess at where things are going to end up. Looking at the timelines, what's the most probable, you know? But there are so many timelines that it's anyone's guess. And, sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not, depending on whether you change the outcome. So, but they're two totally different things. One's for getting information, one's for creating something new. They're just not, there's a maybe some overlap in some places, but they're not at all, um, you know, synonymous, interchangeable. That's what I wanted. Um, they're just not. So divination, either
No.
tarot or pendulums or I Ching or
Mm-mm.
runes or all that kind of stuff, or even just your own intuition, is just going to basically the goal of it. Some people aren't good at this, but the goal of it is to just take a snapshot of the energies. I kind of compared it to like a picture versus a painting, because in a painting you have an artist who's actually kind of interpreting reality and maybe making little modifications here and there to make it more pleasing or whatever, or bringing out certain details. A picture is just it's a snapshot. It's a snapshot of the light waves that hit the lens, and that's how it is, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's sort of the difference. Law of attraction is like you're creating that painting of what you want, whereas divination or intuition is just I'm snapping a picture, and seeing what is right now or what probably will be
Hmm.
if I don't do anything about it,
Yep.
right?
It's just basically if I sit here and look down the way, what is that over there?
Right,
Most likely, what's going to happen in this situation?
right,
What's more likely to happen? Now, that
right.
doesn't mean it will, but that's just what's more likely to happen.
Exactly. Right. I was surprised. I usually timing is really hard with tarot readings, but Christine had me do a reading in November about that part-time job, at the
For that.
church, because she applied. She wanted the full-time job, right? But she had the
Hmm.
part-time job while they were looking for a replacement, and she also submitted her resume. Well, she had me do a reading, and the reading said basically you'll have the job until towards the end of December, and you will not get the full time job, right? And she, I think part of her tried to change it. Part of her, she was so indecisive about it, right, Christine?
Yeah, I was. I was.
But you know,
Did you want it, Christine?
Sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't, because there were some days where I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a lot of work," and then there were some days I was like, "This would be really cool." So I
right,
really wasn't sure. Now, in the end, I'm glad I didn't, because
right,
I don't think I could have done it. Plus, it was a Catholic church, so
right.
you know.
But essentially, the reading came out, or the reality came out exactly what the reading said. She had it until just about through most of December, and they just found a replacement. And
Plus, I don't play the organ, and I would have
right,
had to learn to play the organ. Plus, the priest was,
yeah,
it was.
that's actually what the reading said too. That she wouldn't had the priest. Do you know anything about the tarot cards, Justin?
Yes.
Do you know the Hierophant?
That's isn't that the high priest or something like that?
Uh, sort of. Yeah, it's like the authoritarian. It represents Taurus, I think, in the major arcana. But it's
I'm okay.
like tradition. It's authority. It's
Well, that's what I had. I had
that's
the
so
Hierophant.
she got that in her reading, and that like represented the priest, and there was like tension between her and this Hierophant.
So that's how I knew. I was like, I don't know if I want
Yeah,
this
Okay,
because.
yeah. I'm not a
So,
tarot expert, but
yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, so that was and there was she sort of didn't didn't like the priest so much, but yeah,
but he
so
really did try. He
well,
was
sure,
he was really nice, but
but it came out essentially exactly how the reading said, but that doesn't always happen, obviously, so you can
I did try
change.
to use that as a guide too. The reading that time, just
Right,
because I knew I was like, I think it's trying to tell me something at this point,
right,
and I don't always do that. Like if it would have said, "Oh, this job is going to go well, but you're not going to get it," well, maybe then I would have tried harder.
right.
But
But at the same time, if it's what you really want, then go after it.
well, yes, but I also didn't want to work for that
But I
priest.
think it was too much indecision, which sort of confused. I don't want to say confused the universe, but it's like, okay, am I going this way or am I going that way? Am I going this way or am I going that way? So you didn't have a lot of momentum building up behind
Yeah,
the decision
and it also didn't feel
because
right
there was too much
either.
of
Like,
well, yes, well, no, well,
but it
yes, well,
also
no.
just didn't like.
Right,
I don't think in my soul it felt right.
right,
Not really. Like
yeah,
and I could just tell if something feels right, and it didn't.
yeah.
As much as sometimes I wanted it,
She says that now, but at the time, I really want this job. I really
I
hope I
think I
can.
wanted it because of the money more
Yeah.
than anything.
Well,
It was a very good.
that was a nice aspect of
It was,
it. But
but I'm like, if I can get, because I've been going to the Episcopal Church, which the priest is so much nicer.
yeah,
You know, and she's amazing.
right,
If only I could get paid for what I did, and she really wants to.
right,
It's just a smaller church, so it's harder to pay
right.
me. But that's okay.
But
The
you know,
community's better.
so that reading essentially turned out exactly how it was. It doesn't always happen like that because a lot of times people change it. But it's just a snapshot of the current timelines, where they're headed, things like that, and that's that's just how it is. So it's totally different. You can't, if she wanted to know, like, if she said, "Am I going to get the job?" And then if she tried to use the law of attraction, like, well, I'm just going to feel good about this question and get the answer, it's just not. It's just not used for that. It's not meant for
No,
that kind of thing. It's not meant to do
No,
that, right?
you have to be at the 0 point or connected to your higher self, and you
Right.
have to get rid of the emotion and ask the question
Yes.
and listen,
Yes.
feel whatever
well,
it is.
that's why you use your divination.
Right. So that's what happens. It's you have to use some kind of intuition or divination or whatever
Yeah,
to really get that answer. Um, and then you can use the law of attraction if you want to try to change it or to try to find the best way around it. Sometimes it's just not going to happen. you
All right.
know?
What I do is this: before I do anything with law of attraction or anything, I actually do divination and meditation
Yeah.
to see what the best angles are. A lot of times people just you'll see them on some of the message boards that I've been on, and some of the different like conjure boards. They'll just do stuff,
Right.
and it's like, okay, I've done this and this and this, and they're kind of. I'm always thinking, okay, did you do any kind of divination first? Because you
Right.
really shouldn't until you do. You
Right.
know, it's like you gotta. That's kind of why it's important to connect every day. So even for law of attraction, because I might be attracting something that technically I don't need or later don't want.
Yep.
Well,
Hmm.
I just wasted a lot of energy and time, you
Right.
know,
Hmm. Yeah,
to see
basically.
exactly what makes it click in for you. That's what I use it for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it just depends. I mean, sometimes sometimes you can just go through the law of attraction, and as long as you're focused more on the emotion of it rather than um, the details, the universe will sort of substitute it. You know, if you focus on abundance, that kind of stuff. But yeah, divination can definitely be a way of eliminating any kind of future disappointment in that area. You know,
Yeah, well, I've just really messed up without it. Like I've
yeah,
attracted stuff, and I'm like,
sure,
okay, this did work, but man, this is not.
right,
Man,
right.
the context was just, I don't know how to even, it was just kind of like, oh, I didn't know that was going to be like that. Well, all right, next.
Right, right. Well, yeah, that's like I've had several experiences where I've made a decision about something, and I start to go towards it, and that's where you really have to start to use your intuition. I start to move towards it, and then my intuition starts. The more I move towards it, my intuition starts saying, "I don't know about this," and obstacles start popping up, and and then when I really know it's not for me, is when it feels like I'm forcing it. I want this so much
Yeah.
that no matter what obstacles are coming up, I'm just going to force it. Now, forcing it, by the way, is not the same thing as choosing your goal. Choosing your goal is just
Uh-huh.
moving towards, your what you want. Forcing it, and that's actually one. I'm not going to give it away, but that's one of the keys too. It's part of one of the keys. But forcing it is um, trying to make it happen despite all of the obstacles and things that your higher self is throwing up at you, and that it's just not going to work. You know, that's when I usually know. You know what? It's not. It's not worth it. It's not happening. So I turn around and go the other direction, and that's hard to admit sometimes. Sometimes it's like you're really convinced this is the way, but then it's not. And so you really have to pay attention to your intuition, to if you do divination, the results you get, that kind of stuff, because it'll tell you. And I'm telling you that they have, spirit or higher self or spirit guides or whoever is behind these divinatory tools have a sense of humor. Tarot has
Mm-hmm.
just messed with me before.
Oh yeah.
Messed with me, absolutely. But you
Oh,
really
yeah.
have, yeah, absolutely. You have to kind of figure that out. So, but um, but yeah, divination is, I think, a very important aspect, and you can learn to use that yourself. I mean, you can go to a psychic. That's definitely an option. That's why I do the tarot readings. But you can learn to do it yourself. But to really do that effectively, you know, it takes work. It takes a bit of training, and that's why I'm doing this course, which again I'm really really excited about,
Right.
because it does take a bit of work. It does take a bit of figuring out how exactly everything fits together, and why this happens that way and that kind of thing. To train your intuition, it just takes a bit of development, a bit of inner work. So that's something that we need to learn how to do. I think that we had that access to that as children, but a lot of us drop out of that as we get older. And then it takes time and effort to get it back. So
Yeah.
it's very important.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts with that, Justin?
I know I've always been able to intuit which people were good to do what with, and I've always used it growing up. You had to know who to hang
Yes.
out with, who I couldn't, especially with a
Yeah.
disability. You had to know which
Yeah, that's
person
true.
would pick you up, which person, who your friend was in the group, who would pick you up. You had to know that if that person wasn't there, that group wasn't gonna, you weren't gonna be
Right.
able to. That group wasn't accessible. I
Right.
mean, it was weird, So you learn that, and I practiced a lot. Saw that when I used my divination skill sets, I was able to really make everything more effective through timing and precision.
Right.
So when I applied a lot of force. But when the thing was, even before I got training with you, when I did apply force, it was in the right direction. Like it was probably
Right.
excessive, but I learned early on to just not do it without divination and meditation, and I combined
Right.
meditation and divination,
Yeah.
practice
Yeah.
the arts together.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's for me it was always difficult to trust in what I was getting. And I think because of that it took me time. It took me a long time to develop it. I when I
Oh, I trust the stuff.
yeah, when I started tarot, I don't even know when, probably 8 years ago. And back then, I mean, I would do a reading and I would feel like I was making up a story. And you know what I mean? It was just like I would post. I was doing free readings for people online, and I would post the reading, and they would give me this wonderful feedback, and I'd be like, "You're kidding me! That was just." I felt like I was making it up, but you learn, and this is, I think, one of the things with psychic development. The more that you're able to let go, uh, the more success you're going to have, because you have to be willing to kind of play like a child would. Make up stories about it. Um, do whatever it takes, because a lot of times those stories will be exactly what's true. And they'll when I would follow those little flashes of intuition of something that just seemed impossible, but I would say it anyway. Usually that was the highlight of the reading. They would say, "How'd you know that?" Right?
Yeah,
So that was always the most important.
Oh.
It takes time
Yeah.
to to develop that kind of trust. It just does.
hmm
And it took me it took me a long time, unfortunately. When I'm doing an
Oh yeah, I
Akash,
mean, I still have to work on that trust sometimes. Everybody
yeah,
does a little bit.
oh yeah. Still, even when I'm doing an Akashic reading, sometimes it's like it feels like I'm just playing. It feels like I'm just making up stories, but I'm not. I mean, I don't want to say because they always resonate with the person. It's always stuff that really matches their life. So, but it's you absolutely have to kind of play in imagination and be childlike about it.
Right.
That I think is
hmm
so important to be able to do that, because it's only with that that you can really develop it. So the final point I think I want to make, and then if there are any questions you can ask, and then if not, we'll be done. But I think some people might ask, why should I worry about developing psychic abilities or intuitive abilities or whatnot? You know, I'm not saying you have to give readings to people. You can if you want to. It's a cool thing. But we came into this world with complete access. I'm not going to say complete because we are meant to disconnect a bit. But, um, you know, we came into this world with pretty significant access to our higher self, to our spirit guides, to our spiritual help, right? And
hmm
to that universal energy that was going to feed us information. And we had that as a child, and children are really good with intuition.
Right.
But as a lot of us grew up, you let go of that, you lose that. But we are meant to have. It's like, well, for the three of us, Christine, me, and you, Justin. not having sight. It's not having a sense, and that as well as we get by without that, it obviously cuts out information that can be useful. So it's the
Hmm.
same thing with a
Yeah.
psychic sense. It's like being blind, spiritually or psychically. There's this whole other dimension of energy, of
Hmm.
spirit, of you know unimaginable things that something can't be translated in the physical means. Like you can't describe, if you could never see, you can't describe color to a blind person or sound or
Right.
music to a deaf person. You just can't do that.
Right.
So you can't describe these psychic phenomena to someone who doesn't believe in it or someone who doesn't access that. But once you do access it, it's so a part of who you are as a person that you just have to develop it. You just have to go deeper into it because it's you. It's part of
Hmm.
your nature to have these abilities, to have these senses, to be able to tune in and tap in to this information, this you know, extra, dimensional or physical information. So it's regaining a sense that you should have had to begin with. So why wouldn't you really? But that's why I think it's so important because it's when you just try to get by. I mean, the law of attraction, being creators, is a wonderful thing, and that really is. If you're a creator, if you're manifester, you probably do have access to a lot of the intuition and stuff like that because you just can't have access to the energy without the rest of it developing also. But to really deliberately develop that intuition and those psychic skills um, gives you so much more information. I can't imagine. Can you imagine, Justin, just
Hmm.
walking around the world with no?
So what?
Can you imagine just going about your life with no extra information, with no psychic information?
No, because you can't. I
No.
can't
No.
because I have a visual disability too. No, I can't do it. I'm like, no, I
It's
gotta.
no.
Mm-mm.
It's like asking a sighted person to imagine being blind. You can't do it.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's part of
You
you.
do it,
It's
Brenda?
no, no. It's that would be weird. It gives you information that is so vital about a person. Even if you don't,
Yeah.
even if you never use it for readings, even if you never pick up a tarot deck or whatever, just having that information available to you really changes things. So, I encourage everyone to check out the psychic course, especially like I said before the end of this year, before January 1st, because it's a 25% discount. But because I'll go into tons more detail about how all of this works. And like I said, the address for that is going to be co-creationcoaching.org/psychic. And any other questions or comments about anything today? All right.
No. Today was
So
pretty
Oh,
good. I
yeah,
liked.
it was awesome, even with only a
yeah.
couple people. So I appreciate everyone joining, and Justin, if you hang on afterwards, I'll just stop the recording and we can
Certainly
talk for a
will.
few minutes. So don't hang up
Yeah.
after I say bye. But I hope that everyone has a wonderful new year, and we will see you or talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Just so everybody
Bye.
knows, this is one of my favorite holidays. Is New Year's.
New Year, I know. I like New Year's. All right, bye,
Yeah.
everyone.